welcome. Yes, this is it. This is the Cheltenham Festival preview. This is the one you've been waiting for. And we've certainly rolled out the royalty here because this is the first time, I believe, on a Bar Stewards podcast that we've actually had 5 on a show. And we've done this for a reason because not only have we brought out Andy Richmond, who obviously is our senior national hunt judge on Bar Stewards Patreon, but we've got Cathryn Fry and a newcomer as well. We've got Michael Cannon Racing. This is the guy with pictures at Cheltenham Festival. Go and bet with him, and he's going to give his forthright opinion on this show. And hopefully, you'll find this show entertaining as well as profitable. So, welcome all. Me, John, Andy, Cathryn, Michael. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Let's get on with this. So, the format of this show is to make you money over the week. And I've looked at many festival previews and I find them, I would say, a tad boring, reviewing the Champion Hurdle Gold Cups like Yonesville, USA, right? So this format is going to produce each one of us our 2 best bets each day for the 4 days. And we'll go around as to why that is and maybe have a little bit of discussion. And then at the end of the show, we'll come up with a lucky 15 of long shots and a lucky 15 of sort of bankers, if you like, to finish it off. It's a little bit different to how others have done it in terms of reviewing the races. So, Tuesday, first of all, I'm going to put the gun right straight away on our Bar Stewards Bond girl, Cathryn Fry.
That doesn't relate to our just previous conversation.
No reference to off-air chat at all. So, Cathryn Fry, kick us off on Tuesday with 2 bets that have taken your eye, please.
I'll go with a horse that I backed a fair few weeks ago now, and that is a fairly routine one, but I've got a nice price one for you in a minute. My best bet of the day is Brighter Days Ahead in the Champion Hurdle. I think I touched on this on the last pod I was on. I can't even remember. I could say that I can't remember what happened yesterday. I just think that she's looked sensational. If you look at her form this year, so in the Hatton's Grace, she's beaten the reigning Stayers Hurdle champion. She didn't just beat him, she absolutely annihilated the reigning champion hurdler at Leopardstown. I know you can only beat what's put in front of you with Constitution Hill, and it's not his fault that he's had vastly inferior opposition line up against him in his starts this year. But if you compare the races side by side to what she's beat to what he's beat, and he's got to give her £7. I think if we were talking of the Constitution Hill of 2023, I wouldn't quite be as confident. But we're talking about a horse here that he's obviously got issues with his wind. He's obviously got issues with his stomach. I also think that there's no match between Jack Kennedy and the Boyne Villator. And I think Gordon is absolutely desperate to win a champion hurdle. They've got one here that can do it. I'm not saying he's not a good horse. He is a good horse. It's just, I think the reason why people get so sick of it is because it's just all the bloody chat and printouts and shit like that we've had along the way. Just be straight and tell people what the issues were. Bloody racecourse gallops and all that. People the other day, like, bloody fainting at delight at him pulling away from a horse rated 126. Of course he's going to fucking pull away from him. It's absolutely mad, this hype machine. But I'm very much looking forward to him meeting decent horses here. My second play of Tuesday is in the Ultima, a horse that's been here before, albeit with a different stable, but I just think he's overpriced. Happy Go Lucky at 25-1. Now in the care of Mel Rowley, was with Kim Bailey, I believe was the second in this race a very long time ago. The run behind Moon d'Orange over a 2 shorter trip on Trials Day, I thought was really good. Hadn't been seen out for 600 and odd days. He got tired, wasn't given a hard time, and I think that's probably would have put him spot for a horse that likes the course and distance. I think 25-1 is too big a price. So there for me, Bright Days Ahead, whatever price she is at the moment, and Happy Go Lucky at 25-1.
Yeah, I think Brighter Days is around 9-4.
Okay.
Can get in a place too. 25-1 for Happy Go Lucky. So thank you, Cathryn, on a starter for 10 on Tuesday. I'm going to come to Michael now on his opinion on day one.
Day one, my opinion is there's 4 short price favourites, and thanks very much to Cheltenham for that. I think they've done a sterling job with the card. and the fixture lists and the races that they've put up. I think everyone will be really pleased to see some of the stands barren on Wednesday and Thursday, but that's another story. If the Jockey Club had a golden goose, it wouldn't make 11s. But there you go. I obviously, from my point of view, I'm looking to lay favourites or horses I don't think are going to win. Having said that, obviously sometimes if you're laying a horse to lose, you like to think you've got 2 or 3 live chances of getting it beat. And I could not agree more with every single word Cathryn has just said.
Thank you.
I think BDA could in time be the greatest 5-2 chance there has ever been. All this heart rule in the pocket, it's the quickest way to the poorhouse that's ever been invented. Constitution Hill of 2022 and 2023, that was then. Usain Bolt got beat once. He's still the fastest man that ever lived. But BDA this year, form is different, class. Yes, it's been 2.5 months and Leopardstown's a slightly different track, but they've got the pacemaker in there. And if Nico de Boinville, that's his little cotton socks, if he's waving his whip 6 lengths clear, because he won't be winning in the driving finish, then I'll pay. But brighter days ahead, it looks head and shoulders. I'm getting £7 as well. And if you force me to have another bet, I think, ironically, all these previews I've been doing, I've been saying Constitution Hill is going to be my lay of the meeting. Well, that was when I thought he had 2.5 runners against it. Now there's only one. So I'm going to be against. But the lay of the meeting for me has to be Lossy Mouth. Just has to be. And for that reason, I think Jade de Gruger looks a proper price for the each way bandits. Put the each way to it if you like. But I think that it's roughly 5 or 6 to 1, something like that. I think it's a gift. I really do. Horse has got plenty of room to improve. You could argue on the form this year, she's actually shown better form than Lossy Mouth. And we must assume that Lossy Mouth is not 100% else to be running the champion. Or maybe just Richie is a complete bottle case, but there you go. So for me, Jade de Gruger, each way to it if you want to be silly clever, and BDA, 2 solid bets for me on the first day. Both against favourites, I think, a decent value to lay.
Lovely. That's what we like on this podcast, not pointing out the obvious, certainly against the obvious, from Cathryn and Michael in agreement there on the champion hurdle. What do you think, listeners? That's really interesting that we've certainly got a consensus already building. Andy Richmond, where do you stand on day one?
Do a couple of points first. Clerk of the course, can you tell us how much water you're putting on?
He's put on 10 mil, Andy.
It's not put on anywhere on any website I saw about an hour ago, Cathryn, so thanks for the inside info.
I think I read it on irishracing.com because, to be honest, I tend to use that.
If you look on the official BHA site, it's like we've watered, but we ain't telling you how much.
I tend to use that more than I use anything, to be honest.
Probably more use because that BHA site's about as much use as a chocolate teapot.
Yeah.
For a premier meeting like this, ridiculous. Before we get on to the two, might be a useful little stat in the first if you want to oppose a favourite, Kopek the board. Mullins with his hurdlers, when he puts a hood on them first time out, has got an absolutely shocking record since 2018. In fact, with favourites, he's 7 from 33, which is about 8 winners below expected. And when they start evens or less, he's 6 from 17, which is about 4 winners below expected. And overall, since 2018, he is 14 from 113, which is about 10 winners below expected. So Kopek the boards with a hood on does not fill me with joy to me at the moment. A couple of bits and pieces for you. I'll drop in the odd trend and stuff like that. Ultimate, one of my favourite races. I tossed up here because I have got 2. I'll mention one first. I was going to go with Katati Dore as a horse I really like. I think he's really progressive. I love Sam Thomas as a trainer. Slightly worried that race at Kempton would have taken an awful lot out of him. He's had a fair few races in a short time for a young horse. So I'm going to go with Whistle Stop Tour, who had a very, very nice little run round at the trials day when he was 5th of 7. And it was just a bit of a jog round, really. And Lucinda Russell has got plenty of previous in this race, of course, with Korak Rambler. Now, I'm not saying that Whistle Stop 2 is going to turn out to be the same as Korak Rambler, but he only got beaten 15 lengths in that jog round. 8 novices have won the Ultima since 2004. And Korak Rambler led home actually a field of novices back in 2022. So I did want a novice on my side. I think he's been primed up for this. So Whistle Stop Tour would be the first in the Ultima. I'd probably wait until the day now. You could probably get all sorts of silly extra places and stuff like that. I'll back him when only, but I wouldn't put anyone off backing him each way. And the second one, I thought that Cathryn might go for this one because I did notice that she'd already mentioned him in one of her missives. Transmission
Oh yeah,
in the novice handicap. Trumpets, Chris Paul backed him a while ago. He really had, I think, been saved for this sort of race.
yeah, he has. Yeah.
He's got to reverse the form with Haiti Kalor, but he's £4 better off with him. I'm not
Yeah.
overjoyed with the jockey booking, I must admit. I'm
Same.
not a big Patrick Mullins fan, especially as you obviously can have pro jockeys in this year. But the horse just looks stamina personified, doesn't he? If there was one other in the race that you might just take a look at, it's Jericho Rock. I think he could run at a big price. But certainly the two I go for on the first day, Whistle Stop Tour and Transmission in the Ultimate and the novice, or the almost 4 mile that's now a handicap.
The National Hunt Chase that isn't the National Hunt Chase anymore.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Andy. John, coming to you for your thoughts on day one.
Righty-ho. I've 0 action until 4:40, so I might have a lane.
John, I got a question before you start.
Go on.
Were you a bit gutted that the BHA didn't ask you to front up their podcast?
Absolutely not, Cathryn. No.
Can you imagine that?
I'd fucking love it.
They did the right thing. They got Nick somebody or other who is bland enough to be the chairman of the Richard Hoyles fan club. Which absolutely a perfect choice for them. Anyway, down to business. The Bodles. I'm siding with Bill Durkin here and Holy See. I've kept an eye on this horse since the first run of his hurdling career, where I thought he shaped really well. Clobbered, I think it was the second last. He was a little bit slipshod with his hurdling, but I thought he ran well. He then bumped into a live triumph hurdle outsider in Charles second time, and I thought again he ran well. Young Burns had ridden him twice by then Oakley Brown teamed up with him to run 10.5 lengths behind Bacchanalian, which is a very useful level of form, I think.
It is.
Yep.
The key to this horse is he's going to improve enormously for a bit better ground. He's run on soft, heavy, soft, and yielding to soft. If he gets a bit of good to soft, and chances are it'll dry out during the course of the day, this is very much a live one. He's an 8 of Thunder out of Invincible Spirit mare. If that doesn't improve for better ground, I'll stand tapping. 25 is massive value in the Bodles.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a nice case, John. You've made a nice case for that there. Your second one, please.
And the second one is in the finale, and that is, well, Cathryn, we're going for a Melroley double.
I think she'll take one.
Kintara
Kintara, yeah.
to make Melroley leading trainer overnight. Vastly unexposed over fences, methinks.
Good jock on as well.
Has been brought along really steadily. I think this is had a very, very significant prep for this. Absolute sighter first time up at Newbury. Only went off 9-2, but I mean, my God, it was fatter than me. Then a little poddle round at Windsor. Again, really nothing more than a sighter. I think this horse has tremendous scope to improve. A strongly run race, decent ground, over a trip. He's definitely shown inclination, but an extreme trip could suit. Stamina could be the bottom line here. And again, I think 25 to 1's a rattling good price.
Nice.
So you've heard it here first, folks. Do a John Lang on the first day of the festival. Wake up just after 4 o'clock. Get yourself in a nice suitable order, bit of gin and pate, and get ready for the last two on the day. That's John's strategy on day one. Can't fault that, John, at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you don't have to put up with the rest of it.
Yeah.
Just to finish off the round, then my two, pretty simple, really. 240 Cheltenham, the ultimate, of course. Going against Fry and Andy here in terms of, it's the stablemate, Andy. What do we think to Mayertown? Mayertown's very unexposed.
Big chance.
Patrick Vadge, yeah, he's the guy. I like him.
Yeah, I'd have him over Derek Fox.
I would, yes.
Not like that.
Yeah, both. Yeah, we all would, I think.
You
But
think-
yeah, he's very unexposed, and I think he's a very nice horse. He goes from the front, which suits this race, And I think if he can just get a nice position early, I think 22, 25 to 1 is enormous for Town of Lucinda Russell's in that as well. Obviously, Andy mentioned the other Lucinda runner, Whistle Stop Tour. Derek's chosen to ride, but I do think the other one has also got a lively chance. The other one for me, John's made a fantastic case actually for the one he said. I certainly won't be losing on what John's just said. I think that's a fantastic case regarding the ground. Invincible Spirit, Damn Line. That's not heavy ground. Like you said, that John, that could be big. But even you've noted that Stencil is a worthy favourite here. John, you agree with me here? I think the Triumph Hurdle this year, the front of the market is cock solid. I think they're very, very good horses.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the fact that this was second with quite a sympathetic ride from James Reevely, I think this has got a lovely mark. And I think it's a worthy favourite at around the 11-2 mark. And that's where I'm at. I'm at Stencil in the juvenile handicap hurdle. So a big price and a sort of a fav to start day one for me. Right, day two. Let's get straight on. Cathryn Fry, let's start day two off.
Oh, okay. First of all, I'm going to start off in whatever they call the first race these days.
I know.
Turners.
It's still the Sun Alliance hurdle to
Yeah.
me. But I'm actually going to go with James's Gate. Now, I know that this horse has had all manner of problems. I can't imagine this is a horse that's going to have a long career. He does have problems. He did have an entry in the Coral Cup. In fact, the fact that they've chosen to come here, obviously when he was with Willie a few seasons ago, he was third in the champion bumper. I think he's been brought along steadily. He does need to brush up his jumping, but we all know that this outfit will have brushed up that jumping. Or we like the Mole Ryan and Brazil angle at the Fez.
Brazil,
Yeah.
yes.
I don't think in any of his victories he's won 2 on the bounce. He hasn't been really knocked about in those 2 victories. His last win he was headed and he rallied and he came again. If they've sorted his jumping out, then I think he's quite a big price actually at 16 to 1. That's his only entry, and let's face it, we don't know at the moment, obviously, until tomorrow who's actually going to run in this. But he will, and I like him at 16 to 1. And another horse that I think has been softly catchy monkey for this is for the Queen Mother is Marine Nationale. Obviously, brilliant winner of the Supreme. I know he hasn't really gone to plan with him over fences, but I think his last run, when he was the only one to go with Solness, actually saw the old Marine Nationale in that race. He's got a very weird head carriage. But when he cocks his head like that is when he's feeling good about himself. I know I take the piss out of Nicky. I mean, I would love John Bond to win this. Like, he's an absolute beauty and like wins everywhere else, but he has got that being beaten at the festival factor against him in better opposition almost. I think he likes it when he can boss his field around. I think he's a beautiful horse, John Bond. But I think Marine Nationale's been brought along slowly for this. So for my 2 picks on the day, I will go for James's Gate 16 to 1 and Marine Nationale in the Queen Mother, please.
Because I've got to correct you on James's Gate. The best price is now 10 to 1 available for James's Gate. For
Look
the
at that.
Shrew connections, Cathryn, I do believe though at 10s that's still a play. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You'll find out when I release my 2 that we're in agreement on this. So
Klaxon.
this is a good thing, yeah. Michael, coming on to you for your 2, please.
I just fancy getting a few short price ones beat, but I'm going to put up a couple of big price ones. One in the Brown Advisory, because I really don't fancy Ballybird. Well, I don't fancy it, I just think it's a bad price.
Yeah.
And not sure Stella is going to run, but it's the only entry Gordon Elliott's got for the horse, so it looks like it probably will. I think this horse is an improving chaser, definitely stay. And the one thing I'm looking at what's probably going to run in this race, I think there's going to be plenty of pace on, so I think staying is going to be the name of the game. Probably would prefer it to be a bit softer if you look at his runs back. But at a big price, you don't normally get 20, 25 to 1 horses who have got standout chances. So at a big price, I think is one that could show up in the Brown Advisory. And then, as Wendor is more about me laying horses than backing them, one at a massive price in the bumper, which is the Irish Benefit Race, which ironically they introduced just so the Irish might actually have a winner. There was a horse, I forget who trained it, some farmer trained this horse called Aqua Force. He hadn't trained a winner in 28 years, which is stunning in itself.
Wow.
And then he gets this horse Aqua Force. It wins in some field somewhere in Ireland, and it won about 40 lengths. I mean, it was ridiculous. Apparently, the phone was ringing off the hook after it won. And eventually, surprise, surprise, JP won the scramble. And now it runs under the green and yellow silks. It's trained by Willie Mullins. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I'm inclined to believe that the farmer wasn't training this horse first time up. But if he was, then we can reasonably assume that Mullins is going to improve it a little bit. And it could have just been the fluke of flukes. But at 20 to 1, Aquaforce, if he turns up in the bumper, he literally could be anything.
Mm.
Good
What a
shout.
fair
Yeah.
shout that is. A nicely researched angle there. I kind of like that. A couple of nice big ones from Michael there, who is, of course, on Wednesday trying to get the short price Favs beat. Andy Richmond, you can add to this fair on Wednesday, I'm sure.
Be aware. It's pretty obvious, isn't it, what they're up to with this. Thing needs 2 miles 5. Ran a really good race in the Greatwood. He was second to 15. Probably ran it again too quickly in that Ladbrokes Trophy, as it called now, at Ascot. Then got beaten 17 lengths. Just think it needs time between its races. Put it away. Completely, fairly unexposed. Might act a British handicap or a GB handicap winner for once. A Comfort Zone would be another one I'd mention at that. And there's another Skelton horse in there, Joya Machine, who I'm sure is being lined up for something somewhere, but it doesn't look like it's going to play from the betting. But Be Aware would certainly be one of them. And one a little bit off the wall in the Grand Annual, which could see last year's first and second take each other on again. Unexpected Party and Liberty Hunter, but they'll both be off higher marks. And I thought the Green and Gold, he does like a runner in this. He's only got one this year, Mr. McManus. And of course, the horse is So Scottish.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't run over fences for absolutely ages. It's massively lower in the handicap now for the very shrewd Mr. Emmett Mullins stable. I think I've probably backed a JP horse in this every sodding year. He's had about 9 seconds. He has had winners in this. This horse was Royal Fancy for the Plate 2 years ago. It's £8 lower now. Just think, So Scottish, you might be one of those that Michael is filming a few Irish punts on the day. Just see this being a bit of one of those late gambles. So I have already backed So Scottish, but I do think he's got a pretty decent chance in the Grand Annual, which of course is now run over a completely different course to what it used to be.
It's moved to the Wednesday, isn't it? It used to be on the Friday. Yeah. Different track.
Yeah, I run over the much quicker. Somebody who was a pro punter thought that the new course, or sorry, the old course was much stiffer than the new course.
Completely wrong.
Complete and utter bolax, especially on the hurdles course where you've got just 2 hurdles to be jumped in the last 7 furlongs.
Yeah, that's misconception, isn't it? The old course is the quicker one. The new course is the stiffer one.
All the major 2 mile events are on the Tuesday and the staying events are on the Thursday and the Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody was in the post this week.
Does not surprise me.
Quoting it completely the other way round. And I'm thinking that is a load of old.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy, for that. But coming on to your 2 now for Wednesday. John, we all like a stiff one, don't we?
Oh, I know. Those that can't manage a stiff one can always resort to the Pelé treatment, can't they?
So come on, Wednesday, you've already come up with a nice reasoning on Tuesday for a big price runner. I'm expecting big things from you here.
Well, so am I, actually. And someone else I'm expecting big things from this week is old Dracula. I think we're in for a bit of a resurgence this week. And I'm starting off in the Browns advisory with Dracula's potentially excellent 3-miler novice, Gorgeous Tom, who has shown some cracking form at Shorter this season in 4 novice chase attempts. However, every time he's run, he has done nothing but suggest to me he's gagging for 3 miles. And when I say gagging for 3 miles, I mean gagging for it. The last run behind Croke Park was absolutely excellent. He did nothing wrong at all. He ran on like a Trojan after the last. I think he's well overpriced against a well opposable favourite.
Thank you, John. Music to my ears.
Exactly. This is it. An on-course layer that's liking this, I think, a lot, John.
Yeah, well, and my second one on day 2. A nice early night for me on day 2. I'm finished at 2:40. This is in the Coral Cup, needless to say. And it is the Baby Joseph's comfort zone. So I think has pretty much been prepped for this. He's got reasonable flat form. I think getting him on a nice quick surface will suit. Track and trip will suit. I can't really have him out the first 4.
Cracking, mate. Honestly, you're making some good cases here. Wednesday's theme to finish off this round for me is just to clarify that the agreement with Cathryn Fry on James's Gate. I think Martin Brazel is a shrewd operator.
Yeah.
He's only got one horse entered at Cheltenham, has already been mentioned, and this is significant. It's probably a brittle horse, but at the same time, I think the improvement up in trip could be monumental, and 10-1 each way is a lovely play, I feel. That's where I'm at, a big each way bet James's Gate. And the other one on the 320, it's normally a race, John, that me and you have reached for the booze and the pate and the cheese board during the cross country. However, Cathryn Fry alerted me to this horse a bit ago. Bustleton.
Ah, my old mate.
John, you like Bustleton. I know you do. You've said it in your notes.
Yes, I think there's a plot afoot with Bustleton.
Yeah.
And I think it involves winning this year's Irish National and then having a good crack at next year's English National.
Yeah, probably.
What, you're saying it's going to run round the fucking ferns in middle at track, just not be bothered?
No. It will be bothered. There will be a lot of bother.
Yeah. Anyway, Bustleton is my eye catcher.
Yeah.
And I agree with John. John even put in his notes on Patreon, of course, and he said about this horse just hasn't been off a yard all season. So this is interesting for the spring. We're all rubbing hands for Bustleton in some kind of national cross-country chase, whatever it is. Bustleton this spring.
Seems like he's been around forever, but he went over fences when he was little more than a fetus, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that. So that clarifies my two. I hope you enjoyed that round for Wednesday. We move on to Thursday. So coming back to Cathryn again.
Okay.
Your two, please.
Okay, continuing the Baby Joseph theme.
Don't do it to me. I know what you're going to say.
Nürburgring. Yeah, he hasn't been off a yard, has he? And he's what Joseph likes to do is bury them in Grade 1 company for the handicaps and have them sort of run respectively, but not bothering the principals. Look, he's a class animal, isn't he? He won the four-way hurdle, just breaking my heart because I'd backed Nadawi. But I've just been watching him all season thinking, where is this going to turn up? And I actually had him on my mind, first of all, for the Grand Annual. But this is now his entry in the new race. That's not really a new race because it was never really a new race because it used to be run at the April meeting race. That's now the Jack Richards. But he would be my pick.
That's great, yeah.
Does anyone know who Jack Richards is?
I don't know who Jack Richards is.
There was a wicket keeper, wasn't
For England and Surrey.
Okay.
I have no idea who Jack Richards is.
Well, that's how it was.
Michael, have you any idea?
Not a clue. If it's anything to do with cricket, I've got less than zero clue.
The man in the gloves.
His proper name, obviously, is the Golden Miller, so I'm just going to call it that because it's far too confusing.
At least they haven't called it the Johnny Henderson. We don't want him in tears before the last day, do we?
Grand Daniel, isn't it?
Want him in tears about 4:15 on Tuesday.
Yeah. You know he will be that. I had to take my hat off to Willie, but oh God, we did give her a raise. Oh, you'd be absolutely smashed by then anyway. And my second on day 3, which is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Andy. I'm going for my old mate, Bob Ollinger. 3 from 3 at Cheltenham. Wants a trip. He's fucking mad as a box of frogs. He loves a fight. And with our darling Rachel on board, and I like his price as well. It's been so weird. So all winter here, it's been cold, damp, grey. For the last week, it's been like summer. The other day here was like 20 degrees. It was absolutely ridiculous. Boiling hot all week. The ground is probably going to be a bit of a problem for Tia Poo. Bobo loves the place. This is probably one from the heart because I absolutely love him. But on paper, if you look at his chances and you look at his price as well, he's too big a price. So he'll be my second choice for day 3.
Right, so Bob Ollinger. John, wasn't this the horse, though, that you thought had gone at the game at some
Yeah,
point?
we all did.
Well, I said he was running him crippled because he was moving so bad. He got him out of that to a certain extent. He's never mowed as good as he did when he was a novice hurdler. I do have a theory as well that Cathryn's mentioned the weather. And I think this warmer weather will help the horse because he's obviously got muscular trouble.
Yeah.
And you can't underestimate how a bit of spring weather can help horses like that.
Interesting angle. Obviously, I listened to you all on podcasts over the years, and obviously Bob Ollinger has been a thing for you, John, where you obviously thought physically the horse has an issue.
Yeah.
And you've seen it when he's ran, and you've said this horse isn't moving right. So you now think that
It's not as pronounced as it was. He's still not moving anything like he did in novice hurdle.
I think what he does as well is when Rachel starts to press go on him and the engine is still there, he puts his head up in the air. But what I really like about Rachel riding Bob Ollinger is she will then either try and get him on a rail or she'll try and get him a bit of cover. And that seems to help him. And I think she's made for this horse. He is a bit of an old monkey, but they did bring him back from the brink. And he loves Cheltenham. He's 3 from 3 at the place.
Fair comment. Obviously, you wouldn't have beat Galloping Chomps.
No, that was when he was fucked, wasn't it?
He needed a wheelchair that day.
Yeah. So did a lot of people after that.
Michael, coming on to you for Thursday. Hopefully, you've got some favs beat by then, and you're bouncing.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully. It's all about Tuesday, really. If Tuesday goes wrong, it's almost like the week could be gone before it's even started. Having said that, if Tuesday goes well, which I'm reasonably confident it will, by Thursday I'll just be free rolling, which is in a nice place to be. So the first, I feel obliged to have a bet in the first race, the mares, because I couldn't have Maureen was stolen. 6.5 surely wants further. And Joseph O'Brien's Galileo Dame looks to have an outstanding chance in this. The age allowance.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the run last time, can only improve. Ideally, probably wants it another furlong, but it looks a good bet for me. Like I say, the front two at the minute, I haven't spoke to a single person who thinks Maureen's going to finish in the same furlong as the rest of them. But I think that's Joseph O'Brien's Galileo Dame. She's got a big chance. And then in the Ryanair, which is a race that another one that should be scrapped, there's going to be potentially 5 or 6 runners turn up in this. Ile Francais, the market's telling you is probably going to turn up. Campton form and Cheltenham form couldn't be more different. Everyone knows that. And there's a few people think Protect still going to run its race. Well, it didn't beat much last year, and that wins the form. You can put a line through that. Gaelic Warrior's got no chance, so something's got to finish. In fact, Tafal is probably one of the favourites of the week that I don't really want to oppose in this race because it looks bar a fall. But horse that doesn't get to the racecourse very often, considering his age, Jungle Boogie, probably wants a bit further himself. It's got a very, very good strike rate. This horse has been around a while. Henry's horses are running a lot better now. That's not a secret. Nice and fresh since Ascot in December, which wasn't much of a race. On the book, got a bit to find, but that's why you're getting a double figure price. And I've backed this horse each way because I think there's a strong possibility there could be less than 8 runners turn up.
That could be quite shrewd.
Didn't he run all right in the Gold Cup?
Yeah, correct. May have had mistakes 3 out.
Yeah.
But he probably wants a bit further himself. But I think a double figure price each way, you can get on now. Non-runner, no bet, 3 places. Looks a bit of a gift.
You know they're going to go gallop with
Yeah.
Ile Francais in it.
I want to have a bet in the stayers because I really don't fancy Tihupu, but I'm just going to lay Tihupu and hope something else wins. But my 2 for the day will be Galileo and Jungle Boogie. I think Jungle Boogie each way. Although it seems a strange horse to bet each way, seeing how it's normally a first or nowhere, but it's just the makeup of the race. Strong chance to be less than 8 runners turn up when it's Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I think Tiapu as well, he's better on softer ground, and I think it'll really liven up as the week goes on because there's no rain forecast.
No.
Cheltenham, as Fry's often told us, how it drains so well. So it's one of them.
Is that right, Cathryn? You're not expecting any rain all week?
Not expecting any rain all
Nope.
week. Would you like me to bore you a bit about the weather?
Yeah, let's do weather forecast.
2 weeks ago, I thought I'll pop along and have a look at the water table in town because as above, as below. And the water table in town will give you a very good indication of what the ground is going to be like at Cheltenham. I've always gone by that. And it was absolutely saturated, and it was actually up to like the first bit on the flood markers, like the floodplain. And I thought, bloody hell, we're going to open on a soft to heavy festival. Anyway, it continued to just be grey and damp the rest of that week. And then this week has just been absolutely unreal. Took a peek at it now, it's practically all dried up. And the river chart that runs through this floodplain is way back down and there's no water on floodplain at all now. It has completely dried up. Now, I read something in the same article that I saw that he put 10 mil on the old course. They haven't put any on the new course yet because they're expecting overnight frost. So I would imagine that the ground on the new course is going to be quite lively.
Stick it right up to you.
So there you go, it's my boring bit about the weather.
That is good info. I like that, Cathryn. I like that a lot. Thank you for that, Michael, for your input on to day 3. We move on to Andy's choices on day 3, please.
Going for the Kim Muir. Paul Faulkner, he always gets left out of this, doesn't he?
Poor old bugger.
I'm going to go for an Irish horse here. Midnight Hour Fred. Look at his last run. Absolutely rock solid form, apart from the fact that the horse has finished second twice at Cheltenham. He was second to Percival Le Gaulois, who won next time out over hurdles. The fourth in that race was Nick Rocket, who went on to win the Thaisties and the Bobby Joe. He was well fancied for the Grand National. The fifth Well Do was sixth in the Thaisties and second in the Punchestown Grand National Trial. The seventh, 3-card Bragg, won a Navan Novice and then was third of 5 in a Grade 2. And even the eighth, Favori Champdou, has been third twice in the Thaisties and the Grand National Trial. If that ain't rock solid form for Midnight Hour Fred, I'm a Dutchman. And he's got Johnny Poo, as I like to call him, in front of him in the betting. I can't have that horse at all as favourite. I think Midnight Hour Fred, I don't know who's going to ride him. That's the point. I wish Shane we haven't got grab Derek O'Connor, but he's on Johnny Who, isn't he? But hopefully we'll get a decent amateur on him. I don't know who's around to ride him, but he looks absolutely rock solid form. He knows the course. He's run well here, old and new courses. He won at Garum Park in October for mark of 190. He's up to 132, but that Leopardstown handicap, absolutely rock solid form. Top of the shortlist in the Kim Muir. And then we'll go into the Potemps, where Paul Nolan has got Feet of a Dancer. Won this in 2021 with Mrs. Milner. This horse has got a really similar profile. She's Mrs. Milner, 6-year-old mare, weighs 10 times over hurdles. Had finished fourth in the Potemps qualifier at Leopardstown Christmas Festival, and he raced in the final handicap rate of 134. Feet of a Dancer is almost exactly the same profile. Gets in here off 136. We all know Paul Nolan, pretty decent trainer for these types of events. I think she's got a very, very similar profile. I'm a little bit frightened of Diart, who got beaten at Carlisle. Just got outstayed there, but a little bit frightened of him. He'd certainly be on the short list. But the two for Thursday, Midnight Hour Fred in the Kim Muir and Feet of a Dancer in the Potemps.
Superb, Andy. You'll find out that I concur with one of your selections to finish. Jonas, coming to you now for your Thursday choices.
I thought I'd dug one out that nobody would have spotted here, but sadly we're already on the park with this one. And that's Jungle Boogie in the Ryanair.
Wow, yeah, I love it.
I would simply suggest anybody doubting this horse, who's only had 5 chase races in his life, despite being 11-year-old, watch his last year's Gold Cup, and if you're honest, tell me what you would back going down to the third last, because for me, it was the fucking winner.
Yes, well said, John.
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong since. This trip will be ideal anyway. He did weaken a little bit up the hill after he clouted the third last. I ain't got a problem with this trip because he travelled a dream in the Gold Cup. They never got him off it. I think this is a stale each way, a massive, massive price.
Check us out on Patreon. This could be an Andy Richmond Traders Corner trade.
Yeah, there might be another one that day as well in the stayers. Yeah.
Okay, but tune into Patreon for that. John, your second?
My second one, now this is, again, it's Henry de Bromhead. It's a little bit of a hit and hope, because I'm hoping the horse comes back to Cheltenham in the form he went to Cheltenham in last year. He's appeared to go a little bit off the boil, but I don't think they've been that arsed with him, to be honest. And that's Life in the Park. He ran a belting race in this last year. He just got outpaced, and then they're running on up the hill. I mean, if anybody wants to watch this back, he was bearing down on him like a tiger after rabbits, honest to God. And since then, I just do not think they've been bothered. I think they've been conscious of the handicap mark. He's only a pound higher than last year. I just think he's got a smashing chance if he comes back.
40-1, John.
I think he's got a smashing chance.
Wow. 40. John, this is the good podcast. We're not picking out fabs here. So, John, you're circling the wagons around Drac, Henry de Bromhead for your week.
Damn right. I'm parked in Whitby Harbour and we're unloading the coffin as we speak. We're getting him ready. We're going on a blood-sucking rampage.
Yeah. To finish the round quickly, then, I totally agree with Andy in the Kim Muir with Midnight Hour Fred. There's no need to elaborate on what Andy said because I totally agree with that. It's a monstrous price at around 8-1. That's probably one of the bets of the week at that price. What Andy said is spot on. Just to come on to a race that I think Cathryn mentioned, I think it was a 2:00 race that day, the Jack
The old but
Richards.
new, but not new. Yeah.
John, it should be Viv Richards, shouldn't it?
He was a better cricketer.
Even I've heard of him.
Yeah. So change the name to Viv Richards and we're all happy. I was very taken by Asian Master.
Oh yeah.
I need some advice here. I don't think Tom Costello is that great in the saddle, and obviously it's owned by the Costellos.
I think he wants to ride it, but I don't think he can do the weight.
I think if he gets anywhere near the weight, he'll ride it.
He's about 6'5", isn't he?
That's convenient because if a professional replaces him, this is an oh my God moment, and we need to just have the lot on. So maybe check the decks when you look at this race and when the rider's booked. If it happens to be a Mr. P. Townend or somebody like that, maybe then just upgrade your bet by about 4 times. Asian Master
Does get down to 11.5.
Well, it's 11-2.
Right.
If he gets down to 11.5, he'll ride it.
Yeah, they'll let him ride that.
You can only ride £3 overweight. It's the most you're allowed.
I think we can safely say he's missed Sunday lunch.
He's had a bottle of Domestos instead.
The only thing I'd throw in there is the fact that can Mr. Mullins actually have a festival handicap chase winner?
Yeah.
Because he's 0 from 48.
I mean, I'm not normally one for statistics, but that one is quite incredible.
Yes.
It is. But this one, you watch its prep races, Christ, it's built like a bull. I'm looking forward to this being ridden properly, but I don't know.
4th in the Supreme, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah. I'm putting it up, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
hold off until we see the decks. And if we get a professional jockey on it, wow, hammer it into oblivion. Because Asian Master at 8-1 at the moment is huge.
And the fun stops have more on.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
I've highlighted Andy's selection, Midnight Hour Fred and the Kim Muir. So that finishes off Thursday. The final day, chaps, before we come on to our big lucky 15s for punters. Let's go with you, Cathryn Fry.
Okay, so this will come as no surprise to you fellow bastards, but my absolute nap of the day is McClory in the county hurdle. I think Filthy Emmett's played an absolute blinder here. He got him to win the handicap in the racing festival that which gave him then the required runs to get into this race. And he's been absolutely laid out for this. I think the big talking horse, Kopek de May, I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually end up in the Martin Pipe. One horse I am obviously really scared of is Absurd, because he's absolutely class and he won this last year on ground that he hated. He will get his ground this year, but I've just been waffling on about McClory all season. And so I have to make him my bet of the day on Friday. And Lee, you're going to hate me for this, but my other one that I've been waffling on about since the beginning of time is Hello Neighbour in the Triumph.
Get in the bin with that.
Obviously, Michael's made a good case for Galileo Dame. I fancy Galileo Dame too. She's bred to win an Oaks and she ends up in a Mare's Novice. But when he won Roscommon in October and Gavin Cromwell was like, oh yeah, we're going to put him over jumps, we're going to go to the Triumph for them, I was like, ooh, I like that. And then he just goes straight in, beats Lady Alan Vega in a Grade 2, then beats Galileo Dame in a Grade 1 at the Dublin Racing Festival. I do think this is the Triumph winner. I know Leopardstown is a vastly different track to Cheltenham. Possibly the only similarity is that they are left-handed, but when he ran on the flat over 1 mile 6, he came up the hill really well in Navan, so I'm not bothered about the hill. So, Hello Neighbour, my second surefire bet of Friday.
Good stuff, Cathryn. This is what's great, like difference of opinion. And listeners can garner what we all think and go with what they think also. It doesn't matter that Cathryn thinks that. Obviously, difference from the show, and I'll highlight this in terms of when I get my say. Cathryn, thank you for that.
No problemo.
Michael, coming on to you for Friday.
Well, as Jimmy Talbot once said, for those of a certain age, we've got a difference of opinion.
Yeah, we have a difference of opinion, Jeffrey.
I wasn't sure after East India Dock won Cheltenham first time in November, but after Trials Day, I was sure. Whatever beats East India Dock wins the Triumph Hurdle. I mean, as a bookmaker, I don't really want to be leaning with favourites. And luckily for me, Lulamba's in the race. Catching pigeon horses, they're always great value to lay. Obviously, some of them win because some of them were catching pigeons, but they tend to get overbacked. And East India Rock is just bomb proof, will run its race. Whatever finishes in front of this wins the Triumph Hurdle. Hello Neighbours got room to improve, obviously, only ever seems to just do enough, but I'm not convinced he's going to come up the hill as well as the others. And East India Dock, I think, is the one short price favourite, well, joint favourite, whatever it may end up being. Then I don't mind. If that's a small winner when the flag goes down, I'll be quite happy because it's going to be out in front. I can't see anything can go wrong. If Lulamba or Hello Neighbour or the $1 Million Horse Palladium happens to improve a stone, then good luck to them. But if I was having one bet on the day, I'd bet East India Dock. And then my other play on the day is the lovely race, another one that should be banned, but there you go. We've got loads of those. Is the waste of time that is third race on the Friday. Mrs. Paddy
Oh,
Power
yeah.
Chase. I mean, what is this doing at the fucking festival? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Absolute joke race. The only good news is this year is before the Gold Cup rather than after it, because previous years, everyone's gone, well, that'll do me, I'm off. And this and the Hunter Chase, just a waste of space. But anyway, something's got to win the race. And I think this is another race where you're non-runner, no bet each way. You could be on a free one here because Cromwell had about 6 entered, only by night. Now we know isn't running. Should imagine Limerick Lace probably won't run. But there's a horse here that's got a bit to find in the book, but has done nothing wrong. Telepathic, Lucy Wadham's yard, just keeps improving and improving. Going to the left, terrible at hunting the last time, still dotted up. And he's got a little bit to find, but I think in these races, this time of year, if you run your race, you'll go close. I heard something the other day that the other one, the Mullins piece of filth, Allegor Devassi is going to turn up. That wouldn't run past me. I think Telepathy is a strong chance again. Only 6 or 7 will turn up for this. And I think it's around about 6-1. No runner, no bet. It's bound to run. Got no other entries each way. Looks a free bet for me. Dino Blue is very short and might win. But I think rather than going head over heels opposing that, I'll just give Lucy Wadham a cheer and maybe we can have an English winner.
Class, Michael. Great argument. Hope you're enjoying this, folks, because I am. I'm certainly learning a bit as well. Andy Richmond, your selections for Friday.
I've got to go with one in the county. I might be shooting myself in the foot here because I appreciate what Cathryn says about
McClory.
And obviously, you've still got the ridiculous conundrum of Kopek to me being in this and the Martin Pipe. You don't really know where it's going. Could be absolutely chucked in. You've got horses like Valgram, which they've managed to get down to 134. You've got Absurd, who, what Cathryn said, he won it on ground he hated last year. Cargest you could throw in there. But I've got to go with Lark in the Morning. Regular listeners will know that I write a column for Beating the Bias. This is a horse I've been waiting for since about Christmas. I think it's the first column I wrote into the new year. If you go back and watch the race that he ran last time out at Leopardstown, you've just got to watch the red hat and him bobbing in and out of the fog. I mean, he was miles off the pace, got into all sorts of trouble coming up the home straight. They haven't run him since. Baby Joseph, I'm sure he's lined up for this, but there's probably about 5 or 6 others lined up for it. But I've got to stay with Lark in the Morning because I just thought that was just absolutely tuned up for this. The last day is probably my least favourite punting day, I think. And I'm probably kicking myself for doing this, but I'm going to have to go all blogger here. Back Dino Blue in the Mayor's Chase, but it got a crap ride last year. Should have won the race last year. There is absolutely nothing in this race, although I do agree, Michael, about Telepathique. It will be written up in Trader's Corner because I think you can probably get 3 or 4 points out of that. That is your way of playing because it's going to bomb up in front, jumps well, and is improving rapidly. And I don't really like any of the others. And as Michael said, you could end up with about 6 or 7 in this race and you could nick the extra place. So Dino Blue and Trade on Telepathique would be my way of playing that, and Lark in the Morning in the county.
Good stuff, Andy. Love this opinion so far. John, add to Friday.
I'm a bit depressed about Friday. I'm going to have to put a full shift in. I've got one in the 2 o'clock and one in the left.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
Yeah, you can't lay it. Got to be awake first. Maybe a snooze.
You wouldn't think I used to be one of the best race planners in the country, would you?
Go on.
Just rank bad planning on my part, this. Anyway, onward and upward, as I say. In the county hurdle, everybody's keen on Absurd. Obviously, could still be well in. Lark in the Morning, I have tremendous respect for. But there is an extraordinary horse running in this, in the shape of Ethical Diamond. Now, this one hearted Ryan Mower for 9 furlongs in the Duke of Edinburgh at Royal Ascot when he was a heavily backed 7-4 favourite, and I kid you not, he carted him. He's come out still running to about 97. If he'd run that race properly, he could have rated 107. I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind. He then didn't run until the 27th of December in thick fog at Leopardstown, and he was never sighted. Whoop-de-doo. He then broke his maiden with very little fuss at Punchestown in February. He won by 10 lengths after leading, which I don't think particularly suited. I think if there's a strong pace on here and he settles, he could eat these.
What price is it?
12 to 1, is he?
But no 12.
When this goes out Tuesday morning, it'll be 6.
It will be. What's your next one?
The next one, believe it or not, this is my best bet of the meeting.
Oof.
Now,
Drum roll,
Get
please.
it ready. Richard Burke.
And for God's sake, it's in the Martin Pipe.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, Faint Heart never won Fair Lady, did it? This is a horse I've had on the radar since January 2024, and it's Punctuation by Cathryn's friend, Nikki.
Ah.
Yes.
Yes. Come on, Cathryn, give us an impression.
This horse got one of the biggest knot-offs I've ever seen from Paddy Brennan when he was riding it for Fergal O'Brien. And then it got another one at Newbury. Then, obviously, it carted Hollydale when it managed to win at Goodwood on the flat. But then they've changed trainer. They've gone from Fergal to our Nicky.
No.
Yes.
Thanks, Fug.
And this horse reappeared, I kid you not, 25th of January this year. It looked like Bella Emberg and Fatty Arbuckle's love chart. You've never seen the like. And me a month later, he turns out at Kempton looking like he should be in fucking Beowulf. Now I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? How's he going to stop this fucking winning? Because he was weak in the betting. I thought, well, this horse has to run better here. But of course, what he did, the other ones, the first, the second, they were all prominent. He drops in last. Still managed to finish third.
Yeah, it went third at the last.
A strongly run 2.5, which he's going to get here because it's kids and they're all mental. You're betting on this getting a clear run. If this gets a clear run, it will not be out the first 5.
Bang.
I wonder who he's going to get to ride it.
Oh.
I like that, John, because at first I thought you were going to say no ordinary Joe, because of course he's never off.
Yeah.
50 to 1, well done.
Brilliant. So John has caught with a worldie there. Check your spelling on that one when you write your bet out.
oh, come on.
Yeah.
And what an absolute wanker I am. Wanker.
Yeah.
Ron said wanker at that point. The Triumph Hurdle. I'm told that William Mullins might be running about 14 runners. John, it might be one of them derbies where it's like, oh, fuck. Front, back, middle.
Yeah.
Load of shit. One of them.
Absolutely. There's always one of
All
them.
I'll say is, I've backed Lamber anti-purse. Michael loves to take the work horses on, and I agree with him on East India Dock. I think this is ridiculously strong form from East India Dock. But Lamber apparently works with John Bon and works better than John Bon. They think this is the second coming. So it'd be interesting. This is why we get the festival.
I thought this was the second coming. This would be 5 to 4 now. It's 5 to 2.
I know.
There's more leagues there than the Plumbers Convention.
That is absolutely spot on. What I will say is that
I hope you're not suggesting that Betfair does my talking for me.
my horse has no chance of winning this.
It's heavy.
It's heavy. I have to withdraw my horse today because it's heavy ground. They've said good to soft in place.
He's such a slammer, isn't he?
Me and Michael will go head to head. I do like his East India Dock thing. That is rock solid. And I get why Michael will want to take on Lamber. But this is a serious horse on the gallops. Serious horse. I've got a serious horse here.
There's been a few serious horses over the years, haven't there?
I've never met a comical horse, have you?
A funny horse. Yeah.
You only ever say this is a serious horse. I've never heard him say, "Oh, this is a right laugh." He's laughing and joking all the way up to the gallops.
They don't laugh in the south. They're very serious. Down Lamboard,
Yes.
etc.
It's really strange.
I tell you what, Lee, you're right. Willie Mullins has got 13 entries out of the 23 that are still in the Triumph, and not one of them is going to go off under 25 to 1.
Michael, this is a race. You can get a result. You can be there on course, be filmed and doing your social media bit and saying, we've got a right fucking result here. It could be a boil over kind of race. But anyway, so Lamba for me is a phenomenal horse, I believe. Kopek de Me. No one's mentioned this. Why have you not mentioned this?
It's entered in 12 races.
He's even got this in the snooker league.
Kopek de Me would win the World Snooker Championship, the Crucible. I've watched this horse piss up in France. Gun barrel straight. Someone actually said on Twitter, oh, it could be a Gaelic warrior, it could be a state man. This doesn't go left or right. I watched the interview with Ruby Walsh, and he felt embarrassed at the mark of 136. I could see it in his body language. 136. This should be championship class.
Lee, if it runs here off 136, what price it going to go off?
6 to 4.
Which race?
6 to 4 in the
Yep.
county handicap. No pushing at the back. You're all on.
This will go off the best backed horse at the meeting, whatever they decide. Honestly, the one it's beat in France has pissed up in a fucking graded hurdle at Auteuil.
I think he's Martin Pipe bound.
Well, whatever it is,
but I could be wrong.
can't decide what it's running in. I hope it is Martin Pipe for you, Cathryn, for the county bet. Then we can all get paid.
The betting on Betfair at the moment would suggest that it is Martin Pipe bound.
You get number and no bet, just back in both. You won't get that on the day. You will not get 7 to 2 or 4 to 1 in either race on the day, whether you're a layer or a back or whatever. Trust me. This is gun barrel straight. It's a genuine horse. It's probably 150 plus. It's off 136. There you go.
Boom.
All this French form don't mean nothing till they've done it over here. Look at Salvatore Mundi. Got within half a length of Sergino. He's not within 2.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And I'm pretty sure all these French races just get up so they can sell them to people for 300 grand.
Yeah,
The French has turned into the Irish point-to-point field. They're all just get-ups.
it is. JP's bought this. I find it intriguing that they're not even bothered to have a run. No, we don't need to run. We know what we've got here. Why do we need to run and show them what we've got? And that's what I think personally, but this is what it's all about. Right, let's finish the show, chaps, with our lucky 15. Shall we do a long shot? We haven't got any short prices, though. We don't do short prices. Shall we like a lucky 63? Pick the best 6 out that we've mentioned on the show. Andy, pick your best out.
Midnight Hour Fred.
Midnight Hour Fred. I agree with that. So Midnight Hour Fred's going in. Cathryn, pick your best
Yeah.
out.
Well, seeing as when we agree, it normally comes off. Let's go for James's gate.
Yep. So Midnight Hour Fred, James's Gate. Michael, yours.
Seems I think it's a big price, and John agrees, and we're going with big uns. I'll put in Jungle Boogie in the Ryanair.
Jungle Boogie. We could do an each way wankery. John, yours.
Punctuation.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe you had to ask him that.
Do you all allow me Bustleton in the cross country?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I quite
So
like
that's
that.
5.
Yeah.
So we need one more for an each way lucky 63. And any of you pipe up to give it.
Jade de Grugia, each way banker.
Yeah. Jay DeGrugia in the mares.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
You've just got a massive each way lucky 63, courtesy to the bar stewards. And of course,
It's a life changer, that one.
thank you to John Lang, Andy Richmond, Cathryn Fry, and Michael Cannon Racing. Go and bet with him at Cheltenham. If you see his pitch, go and support him. It's what they do. These guys lay the stuff on the line at the course. Go and see Michael Cannon. He's been on the bar stewards. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye for now.